Okay, you can do. Okay, your intro. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the intro. Yeah, I think that like if I'm gonna do the intro, I feel like I have to do it from midair. Like I have to get up into the air to do a good intro. Because if I'm gonna do the intro to the podcast, if I'm not like because that's the thing, the intro is the start, and if you start down, it can go up, but not as high as if it starts up. We love chewing noises into the microphone. Hello, everybody. This is It's Always Sunny in Hell. It's one part conspiracy theory, 3 parts fan podcast about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I believe everyone in the show has died and is in hell for the duration of the show. And we are currently in our cricket arc, which is why we are following most of the episodes. We're going to try to hit points along the timeline, and those points all have a common theme, and that theme is Matty Mara, or as he's more well known, Rickety Cricket. Today we watched season 3, episode 12 and 11. It's the first ever 2-parter.
Wait,
in
what?
recorded history. What have we done a 2-parter before?
You said episode 12 and 11. Episode 12 and 13 is what we watched.
Yeah.
First recorded, first 2-parter that we've done. This is our introduction to 2-parters.
Yeah.
We're gonna be covering both parts in this episode. I don't know if that's how we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be doing 2-parters in the future. We'll see. We'll play it by ear, I think, is what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
If you have any suggestions on how to handle 2-parters, please let us know.
If you have any suggestions on how to count to 15, I'll take those too. Did I actually say episode 12 and 11?
Yes.
Well, it's season 3.
Yeah, season 3.
That much is for sure. Mm-hmm.
God damn it. Okay.
Yeah.
We're here for it. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is Gang Gets Whacked Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
A pretty decent ep we're covering right now. And then we'll cover Part 2 later. So Gang Gets Whacked Part 1.
Later in this
episode, sorry.
Later in this episode.
Yeah, I just want to get through in chronological order my notes because I have surprisingly a lot of notes, mostly quotes.
All right. Mostly quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do we want to hit the major plot points of the episode, or do we even really need to bother with that in the assumption that everybody who is watching this right now has watched the episode?
I just assume that people have watched the episode.
You're right, yeah.
Okay, so I've written down. I'm not gonna do the quotes yet. I'm just gonna write down the stuff, just normal notes. I love Danny's hoodie.
Danny's hoodie.
In the beginning of the episode,
yeah,
he's
like the gray hoodie.
Yeah, the black hoodie, and he's got like the red shirt on or whatever at the beginning of part 1.
Yeah.
I just love it. I just love that fit. In these early episodes or in these early seasons, he was just like wearing a hoodie and vibing. Now he has like polos. I feel like more.
He hits the polos pretty consistently.
Yeah.
That one time he was a man cheetah.
He was, yeah.
That was cool.
That was cool.
I liked that.
And then I have Dennis confused the equals smiley face, where he's like, where the mobsters come up to Mac and Dennis and in lawn chairs in front of the bar.
Yeah.
That also gives like us a look into what they do whenever they're off camera a little bit, which is just hang out,
which is just sit there and destroy their brains,
just shoot the breeze and drink.
Oh yeah,
but Dennis being like, I'm a bit confused. I was kind of confused the whole time, and that like can kind of confuse me. I was really confused.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, he like prattles on and kind of repeats himself. It totally worked for me. It was great.
It's so good. I have how are the lights fixed, which is something that you said whenever they come back into the bar after selling the cocaine.
Yes.
The
mob's cocaine that they found in speakers.
Yes.
Fell off the back of a truck.
Yes. Have you any? I'm sorry for taking over right now, but do you have any notes that you wrote down or anything?
Honestly, it's kind of just like, yeah, Fix Light's how I. This is a weird thought that I had while I was watching this one. Is the mobsters are such like breakout characters, like they're so good and funny and entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
I watched this episode and I was looking at those characters in this watch, and I really was just like, these guys are screaming to be spun off. You know what I mean?
They're so good.
Like these guys, like looking at like the What We Do in the Shadows TV show, and how in the movie, and how like the movie got a TV show before the TV show about the vampires. It got a TV show called Wellington Paranormal about the cops who investigate the vampires. Like it's like a whole like I was looking at these mobsters and I was like, these guys are in another world, almost as if it's a different show that's airing in hell, and this is a crossover episode.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. I think they might be a different cast of characters.
That's great.
Because they're not great people.
That's a that's an idea that I hadn't even thought of. Like that, like in general, of just like it's a show with, I don't know, like it's characters that would have had their show in a different thing. Like what you just said, right? It's like another one of Hell's TV shows.
Yeah.
That's the crossover. Like, that's interesting. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
Nobody fucking does that.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that should happen more because it's fucking great.
What, in like real life?
In
like Rick
shows.
and Morty should show up on Smiling Friends?
No. Not crossovers with other real shows. I'm saying, like, Smiling Friends is a really good example of this, kind of. Okay. It's like, Smiling Friends could have a thing, because they bring in weird characters, like Tyler gets fired in the newest episode.
Don't even talk to me about Tyler getting fired, dude. I'm still pissed.
As a recording, Tyler gets fired, but we never see Tyler before that episode. No. And it's just a one-off gag, right?
Yeah.
Like there's, I feel like in Smiley Friends you can get away with that, where it's like a crossover episode with characters that have never existed.
Yeah, but almost feel like they have a history.
Yeah, exactly.
Outside of what's been established.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other examples,
and not even played up. Like it's not played up. Like it's not like, oh, cousin Brenda, what are you doing? And it's like clearly like that's a character that would get a laugh track when they but like,
yeah,
I don't like the hamminess of that. That's too hammy. But I do like that idea of a crossover, but not a crossover. It would be funny if there was promos for it, like saying it was a crossover.
Yeah, okay.
And the new crossover event of Smiling Friends and Schmingadingop is like something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, back on to Sunny. What do you got?
Another thing that I found interesting, Bingo's great, too.
I love Bingo.
Bingo is wild. And I had a weird...
I'm gonna skin him alive.
So, like, another thing that feels like we've never met or heard about this character ever, but there's this whole history implied that he's been like dealing with Frank. Yeah. But like, is it since he started hanging out with the gang or before? Because Frank has an offhand remark where he says, back in my day, only the biggest pieces of shit would deal drugs. So it's like, did he know Bingo for a long time? Did he know Bingo for like, because this is season 3, so he's only been with the gang for a year and a half. And like,
also,
I don't know.
Bingo doesn't look that old. But I think Danny doesn't look that old in this episode either. Danny's like,
Charlie looks like, I was struck by how young Charlie looked in this episode. And we've watched some of the early episodes before, but he's got like this like, spryness about him, especially with all the cocaine they do. Yeah. But like he like right at the beginning of the episode, he's got his hair spiked and he just looks real little. Like I liked it. But Bingo does a funny thing where the first time he meets Charlie and Dee, he's just like, don't look at me, eyes up there. And then we get a camera POV shot of them looking up, and it's almost like he's some kind of director. that like he knew the camera was up there, and he was like, "Don't look at me. Look at the up there." Like it's just kind of wacky.
And then also like it's just a really fun power play. It's like, "Don't look at me, up." Just snap.
Yeah. He acts it so good. Like when they toss him the drugs, and
yeah,
so
he's like,
yeah, he whistles. Yeah.
So good.
And then for part 2, I really just have
real quick. I still have notes for part 1. I have Captain Hat Danny! ! He's very charming and dashing.
Yeah.
But Frank has so many good outfits during these two-parter or during the two-parter. It's so fucking good.
Yeah.
This whole like
you see his like pimp. He like builds a pimp character for himself. He buys props. He buys the fucking pimp chalice.
Like, it's funny that you see the evolution of his outfit from the first episode or the first part where he's in a hoodie and a t-shirt, and then at the end, like you see like, and then he gets a captain's hat at the beginning whenever they're going to the country club, and you were like, why is he wearing a captain's hat? And I was like, maybe he's trying to build a character for himself to be able to go into the country club and have a backstory, because that seems very funny. But it's not like explicitly said at all. It's just he's
and the
wearing
fact that it's just like understated
hat.
And he just does it and he doesn't like acknowledge it or say it. Like it feels like it's the groundwork for the fucking man cheetah.
And he
it's just like he's just
put
like
the jacket on. He has the jacket in his arm the entire time. He doesn't put it on.
Yeah.
He gives it to the guy that like poses as a juggalo to get Dennis into doing the thing for Frank, but he doesn't put the jacket on.
No.
And then fucking okay. Oh, and then Buster equals Freaky. Oh no, your laughter's getting cut off.
I'm not gonna disagree with that. I think that's pretty true. I think that makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Buster does equal Freaky.
And then the mob is epic, which you already talked about. But I wrote the mob is epic at the end whenever they're like sitting outside. Why is everyone sitting outside on the sidewalk in front of their businesses? Like in lawn chairs.
Yeah.
What
yeah. Everybody, like in that first episode, everybody's kind of just big chilling, like just outside their places of work. In the next one, they're inside playing poker, and eating deli meats.
But mob is epic. Okay, do we want to go through our quotes at the end of us covering part 2, or do we want to go through part 1 quotes now? We'll do the quotes later. We'll hop into part 2.
Yeah.
Hop into part 2.
I really just have like quotes for part 2. So is there anything specific you want to hit about part 2? You want to bring up or acknowledge or point out or say?
Charlie's smile at the beginning of the episode when Dee calls him out for having a glue huffing addiction is really funny. And he's like, like a child.
He got caught, man.
Oh, and then okay, the big man himself, Cricket. I wrote, here he is, right. All caps.
Here he is.
And then
here comes the boy. Hello, boy. It is him. He is here.
And then, how does Cricket not have a job? Just how?
Yeah.
And then you brought up the people donating to him on the street. Just the 3 guys that walk up.
They almost feel like plants.
They
I don't know what.
It's just like this is like this is the hell theory, right? Yeah. This is the thing. Yeah. That's a crack in the seam, or that's a seam in the thing, right? You know, what do you see? I can't speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What? Okay. So what you're saying is that like that's a peek behind the curtain. There's like a.
That's like, what I mean. I can't
it's the
speak.
most obvious. It's the most obvious actors we've seen so far.
It's like them and also the head of the mob's wife kind of acts a little bit weird, but I don't know if that's just how the lady acted or not.
Right.
She's like, "What are you doing, whore?" Like,
yeah. But like, yeah, like those guys who donate to him, like I was watching that scene and it almost felt like there was some sort of like implication.
Yeah,
like
right?
it almost was like it almost was like, is it implying that they all had sex with Cricket? But that doesn't make any sense for how long he's been on the street.
Yeah.
And for how, like, that just wouldn't make any sense. So it's like they walk past and they're like, "Hey, Reverend," and they all put money in his cup, and it's like, though, like it's like the function they do is establish that he's a bum. Like, that's what their job is.
Yeah.
To give him money to establish that he's a bum.
It's just like, and it's like immediately after they're like, "Oh, Cricket, how have you been doing? You look great."
Yeah.
And then it's very just like,
it's very fake.
Send in the guys.
Q, that's your cue.
Yeah. But that's and then I need Cricket's musical when he's on the street and he just got the drums, which are trash cans, and he's like, guys, I wrote a musical and it's so good. And he's like, don't do all that because I need, because base 7's up here, Act 7's up here. I really would like to see Cricket's musical.
That is fucking wild that he says Act 7. That's something we don't talk about enough. Like, are you for real? A 7-act musical. That's a hard sell.
God. But I think that Cricket's musical would have been fucking awesome if they did like a Nightman Cometh thing. But they didn't do Nightman Cometh at that point in time. This was season 3. Right. Nightman Cometh was at the end of season 4. But yeah, I think it would be fucking great. But man, and then I had
Here's my pitch. They fuck Hornsby up on coke, give him the kettle drums, and they're like, "Just do it. Hips and nips, or you're not eating." And he's like, "All right, guys, okay, woo, here we go." And he has to go through 7 acts.
So sexy.
and then all 3 of the boys just come out clapping, taking a bow.
Fuck.
Tell him that the cameras weren't on.
Dee's face at the end is the last note that I've written down that's not a quote.
Dee's face at the end.
Whenever
like
it's
after the situation's been diffused, or
no,
it's getting crazy.
Whenever the head of the mob gets a call from his wife, and then he's like, "Hey, you, I got a call from my wife. It says one of your friends, tried to
forced himself on my wife.
Something like that." But Dee's face is just like she's like, her cheeks are full of air and she's like, she's panicking.
Yeah.
I just heard that face is great. It's right here if it hadn't already been on the screen. All right.
Oh.
Yeah. I have the
budget now?
I have the ability to I've been doing that for the past few episodes of just.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Occasionally I'll do that whenever I have time in editing, because sometimes I have to rush the video out. Yeah. So, what? What? No, you.
Oh, I was gonna say, could you put up a?
Okay, so what do you have? What do you have left?
Line delivery.
Okay,
if we're in part 2 currently, the one I want to hit.
We got a lot.
To me, the it's the joke that lands the hardest out of. There's a couple in here that are really good, but specifically from the mobsters, my favorite moment is when they give Mac the nickname Pussy Hands, and he's leaving, and all the guys are laughing at him, and we see the guy who has his back to Mac and hasn't said anything for the whole conversation is like, he does have gorgeous hands though. And like what sells it is that like the other mobsters who are at the table just like give him a look, like they just gym him. Like it's great. It's like so that good. Moment is so funny.
Oh, Get me a harness. I'm gonna need to be swinging in the air to do this.
Yeah, that whole gag, that opening is awesome. Just the idea that anytime two characters like logic syncs up, this show does that so well.
The mobsters walk up to Mac and Dennis sitting outside. They like, and like Dennis is talking about how he's confused. I think they're like, "Shut up! You owe me a Coke."
Oh yeah. I've never noticed that bit. That was a cute bit. They both yeah.
Oh, the NASDAQ. Charlie says that whenever fucking D is like pressuring them about money, or not pressuring them, but like confused.
Yeah.
Like, how do three grown men not have $800 between them?
The economy is in shambles.
Economy's taxes. The NASDAQ.
You pointed out like Charlie does not know what that is.
He doesn't.
He just doesn't. It's true.
Holy shit, you can talk.
Oh my god, I love that line. That line is so funny.
The jockey comes out. Hey, your horse is really taking to you. Holy shit, you can talk.
I love that line. I think I've stolen that. It never got into the final show, but I stole that joke for when I was doing Elves and the Shoemaker at Loose Moose. It didn't work in the story because we hear them talk to each other when we're hiding in their house. I was an elf. But there's the scene where the elves are in the room with the shoemakers for the first time, and the shoemakers are like, elves! And my original bit was like, you can what? You can talk. That's just such a funny gag to be. I don't know. It makes me laugh.
Another standout line delivery is whenever, this is just a really good scene in general. Whenever Dennis is talking to the old lady at the table, and then fucking Charlie comes up and starts eating bread and is like, I think I was a centaur in my past life. Just disregarding anything. And then Frank comes up. He's like, Charlie, we gotta go, Charlie. And then Dennis is like, both of you smell bad. Just leave. Get out of here. Bye. Go.
He tries to banish them.
And then Frank goes, no, don't talk to me that way. I am your pimp. Don't talk to me that way.
That whole scene is brilliant.
So good.
It's just the three characters, and the woman doesn't say anything.
Yeah, and like they had, you could see that they were just like having fun writing this scene, and then they were like, "Fuck, how do we get to the next shot?" And they were like,
and then the security guard
comes in. Yeah,
yeah.
Like just have him take the Reynolds party out of the place.
Yep. And then they abandon Mac at the fucking country club, but he steals a golf cart and gets out, so he's fine. Yeah.
Walk like the rest of the Americans do.
Jeez Louise.
And then I have this is part 2. Whenever fucking Charlie is showing Dee the horse because they're trying to skip town. Right? And then Dee is like, we can't write that. People will see us and it. And it will, I don't know, just us and it referring to the horse is funny to me.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Peter Nincompoop.
So good. Fuck.
Right on. Right on for Peter Nincompoop.
The mafia broke my legs, but they never break my spirit.
And I don't feel no pain because I found more cocaine. Hey, he wrote that 7th act.
Yeah. Dude, his fucking... Oh my god. Cricket's fucking leg braces that are made of trash are really funny.
Yeah, it's a good piece of like costuming, because it's just like bandage and wood plank.
It looks like wood planks, but also I think it's cardboard. Like I think it's just like plastic wrapped around 2 cardboard or wood planks, either or.
And I think the episode that we do after this one, whenever we do it, should be the gang dances their asses off, because like,
yes,
especially with what they're setting up with this character, how does he get those fucking space age leg bracers that he wears in the dance competition? Like the leg braces. Like, I don't like, how'd he get them? Where are they from?
I have no idea.
We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
But all we know right now is that his legs are broken, and he fixes them with garbage.
Yeah. Do you have any, like, hell theory things for this two-parter? I think the only really thing that I can think of is the 3 guys that give Cricket money.
Yeah.
Like, there's no real obvious signs that that they're in hell. Like,
there's this idea of, like, other, like a crossover episode is interesting.
Yeah.
Line delivery from Danny is after he slaps the shit out of Dennis the first time in the mirror, and he's holding him as they're looking at each other in the mirror, and he just says, so "I don't want to hit you, baby." So good.
So evil, but it's so good.
Yeah, evil but funny.
Yeah. Like the Nonkler.
That's him. Funny but evil.
No, I'm pretty sure he was the penguin.
If I you know what? He's right, you know. If I were to rank this, or not rank, if I were to 6 from me for the two of them, looking at them together, I say 6.
I think you kind of do have to like watch these episodes together. I would say I think this is a 7 for me. Honestly, if you look at both the parts as one, I think it's a 7.
It's good. Like it's a big swing that works for this early, you know? Because it's like the idea of the mob getting involved and them becoming drug dealers. Like, it's pretty crazy. It fits the premise of that these are not supposed to be likable characters.
Yeah.
But also it's a big swing. So I might come up to meet you at a 7 on another day.
Yeah, just also just all the cocaine shenanigans, Dee and Charlie, just their whole like fucking thing. I like the scene of fucking Charlie putting the cocaine on Dee's finger and then putting it in Cricket's mouth and setting the chain of events, setting off the chain of events that will lead to the inevitable downfall of Cricket.
Yes.
Aside from, you know, the first episode where they'd fuck him out of the church, but you know.
I mean, who even did that?
I mean, did I say that? Wait.
Yes?
Oh, I didn't. Okay, wait, I didn't say it. Shit.
What was it?
The last good line delivery that I could think of, which I did put quotes, but I forgot to put the first quote, so I didn't read it.
Okay.
Which is, whenever they're in that scene of meeting Cricket, and they call him a street urchin, and he's like, "Please stop calling me street urchin. I am not a street urchin."
Yeah.
He's like, "Please
That's what
stop."
they all say.
And then Charlie takes his money out of the cup and says, "I gotta take my cut, Cricket. Now that we're working together."
Yeah.
Man. I think that we've kind of landed on, or I've solidified in my mind that Cricket is just a real person that died.
Yeah.
And then he's just being tormented by them.
Yeah. Don't know how else. Yeah. Makes sense to me. Just came in later.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Ooh. Maybe he got cast out of heaven because he was an angel or something. Because he fucked up, or St. Peter was like, "Oh, fuck." You know, I don't know, something like that.
Something,
and then maybe it was his fucking... Okay, wait. We're getting into something here. We might be getting into something. Maybe...
All right.
Okay, open this door in your mind for me real quick.
I'm closing my eyes. I'm walking into my mind palace.
I think that Cricket was in heaven, like I said before, right? Like he died and went to Heaven's Gates, and they asked him to shed all of his fucking like past, like, things, because he's into D heavily and gets fucking like fucked over a lot because he just is love struck by D.
Yes.
So I think he was committing the act or the sin of lust.
Okay.
In his mind, and they couldn't let him in. So they were like, if you can't get rid of this, you're not coming in. And then he was like, I can't. And then they banished him to hell.
Okay. Yeah. Like the first episode, The Gang Exploits a Miracle was a test.
Possible.
Open this door in your mind.
Yes.
The gang exploits a miracle. What if the miracle was Cricket?
You're onto something.
Because
they do exploit him.
They very much, yes, do exploit him.
Yes. Also, in part 2 of fucking Gang Gets Whacked, Cricket's musical is something like the Archangel on the Streets or whatever, and it's an analog for him.
Yeah.
Just saying, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I think we're here for it. I think that's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to keep Cricket Week going, or Cricket. Not Cricket Week.
Cricket Week.
Cricket something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crickets. We shouldn't call it crickets because that's like what happens when the joke.
The
isn't
Cricket
funny.
arc. The Cricket arc going.
We've been calling it our Cricket arc. I think that there's nothing wrong with that.
And then then possible Waitress arc sometime in the future, but I would like to get back to just the gang for a little bit after Cricket. Yeah.
Well,
I think that's it.
If that's everything, there was this other cool thing that did happen while I was walking home today. That was cool. I was walking home today. Look what I found on the street. Fresh, totally real Canadian $20 Billerino on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
I picked it up, and now it's mine.
Yeah.
Wait! What if it's the mob? Like, what if this is the mob's 20? Like, what if the mob comes for me and just, like, the cocaine that fell out of the speakers out of the back of the truck? What if this is that, but for me? And what if I get whacked?
I think that's just the plastic 20.
Well, it's Canadian money, so it's all plastic.
Yeah,
this shit can go through the wash. What if this was in the fucking blood-soaked suit pocket, and it got washed, dry cleaned, fell out, and now what if this is a blood 20?
I think it's just a regular 20. I'm sorry.
Well, if you're missing a 20, and also it would be funny if it was your 20.
Is that Margaret Thatcher?
Call the number on screen right now. 20 20 20. Sonny spelt wrong. 20 20 20. Sonny spelt wrong. Because 2 + 2 + 2 is 6. Also, 3 + 3 is 6. Both of these things are true. I'm good at math.